Oh boy.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Looking Glass podcast, your place for everything Grand Archive. My name's Travis, and I'm here with Dalton and Corey. Same place as we are every week. Tonight we actually have a good bit to talk about tonight. But it's not like meta relevant, I guess you could say. We have had a whole bunch of boons dropped for Pantheon, and I think we're gonna really get into the nitty gritty of Pantheon in this episode. But aside from that, the only thing to really make mention of it, like I know we have apparently the Gaming Giant regional is next weekend, which kind of threw us off because we thought it was something else. But that I digress. Anyway, um, Dalton, you're the Pantheon guy. What are we looking at here?
All right, so I'm just going to go over this so that way we know how we're going to do this and just everything. Okay, so I'm going to go individually by each boon. Basically, we're going to go round robin. We'll start with Travis, Corey, and I'll end it out on each boon on whether or not we think it's going to be good, bad, and give our reasonings for why. All right. So the first boon, and the only reason why this one's first is due to the fact though that we have an unknown cost for it, and we don't know if it's a lesser or greater boon. And that's Boon of Isis. It is specifically class locked for cleric or mage. And it says, as you gain this boon in power 3, whenever your champion levels up into a champion card with a base level 3, draw a card in a memory. You can only trigger this ability once. So be you starting, Travis.
I get my opinion. Um,
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't really know how I feel about this one. Like, it was the one that you said was like listed in like the commercial for Pantheon and everything. So, um, I'm more versed than the other ones right now. So like, I can't say I honestly have an opinion on this one.
All right, Corey, what's your opinion?
This is the Boon of Revel. It's okay. Um, Target player. It's a 3-drop, so you have to control exactly one ally.
No, no, no. This is Boon of Isis. This is class lock,
Oh,
cleric, or mage. Yeah.
well, I don't think I've
It's one
seen
that
this.
whenever you. So this was revealed in the Pantheon bit itself from Grand Archive. The only issue is that the
Oh,
cost is covered up, and it doesn't say if it's a greater or lesser boon,
oh,
and that's
I
the reason why
haven't
I wanted to
seen.
make it
Well, I haven't
first.
seen this one. I've only seen the ones that were posted in the spoilers. Okay. I actually haven't seen this one to be honest. Wow. Okay. When did was this the first one to drop?
This was the absolute beginning of the announcement of Pantheon. So we're
Oh,
going way back to that video that they did. This
oh,
is where this
Jesus
is pulled
Christ.
from.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't have that one pulled up. I had the other ones. Um, hang on, let me. Jesus. Okay.
I mean, if you can't find it, I'll just go over real quick how I
Yeah.
feel
What is
about
it?
it, and we just move
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. It's yeah. I haven't looked at that one. I don't have a thought on it.
Okay.
I
So
I, I thought we were
my
just gonna
thought
go to the new
process.
stuff. Sorry.
No, I want to cover all of them because we never once covered any of the boons at all. So it's every
Oh,
last one
okay.
is. I'll read them all out, and then you guys just give opinions. So, um, the way I see it is it's in power 3, so you do lose empowerment at the end of turn.
What's up,
So
Sly?
like if
Welcome to the
you
chat.
if you can't utilize it and whatnot, there's just no point to it. And I feel there's just better ones for cleric and mage in regards to leveling up and everything for later on boons that we have seen in this past week. So I definitely say that's not the greatest boon, especially not knowing if it's a lesser or greater boon. Um, Moving forward, we'll move to the next one, which is Greater Boon of Parvati. It's a 4-cost boon. It has level 2 locked. As you gain this boon, draw a card. Regalia you control have rest, prevent the next 1 damage that would be dealt to target unit this turn.
Which one is this? Like, I have it pulled up on the
Parvati, I think,
on the
right?
spoilers thing. The Parvati.
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 This is all stuff from the original like video that they did in regards to it, because
Oh, okay. So this is like really old stuff.
Correct.
Read that one again.
So this is Greater Boon of Parvati. It's a 4-cost boon. It's level 2 locked specifically. As you gain this boon, draw a card. Regalia you control have rest, prevent the next 1 damage that would be dealt to target unit this turn.
Okay, so it gives all your regalia. Like, so. Let me get this. Like, so do we have to pay for the boons as they come in, or do they just like?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. You do have to pay for the boons,
but they can't be interrupted because it's like
Correct.
a blessing of the gods. As they explained it.
Correct.
Okay, so this thing just comes in and says, "Hey, I'm gonna give all your regalia tap, prevent a damage from a unit."
Prevent 1 damage that would be dealt to target unit.
Yeah, prevent a damage. Yeah, okay.
It's fractal protection on Regalia, basically.
Interesting. I don't know. Quite frankly, I think it's dog shit. Because there's so much unpreventable damage. Like,
Yeah.
And not just that, it's just 1 damage. So that means, like, in order to prevent a decent amount of damage, you'd have to have, like, multiple regalia out at a time. And they would have to be ones that you're not gonna, like, pop to draw a card or to prevent damage or do something like that. So, I don't know. I think it's dog shit.
Corey, what's your opinion?
I'm kind of in the same as Travis. It just doesn't seem too good. Like, so like boons come out whenever you level up. Like, I'm just trying to
Boons
see.
don't come out when you level up. Boons are there, available to you at the start of the game. It just, some of them have certain requirements to activate them. You have to pay sometimes a cost, sometimes you're class restricted, etc. But you start with a lesser and a greater boon face down in your boon zones at the beginning of the game.
You can treat them like trap cards, basically, especially if they're
Basically.
fast. Only if they're fast speed. Like slow speed, you'd only be able to activate on your turn.
And you only get 1 greater and 1 minor.
Correct. You get 1 lesser and 1 greater.
Yeah, if you only get 1 of each, then yeah, like I would not choose that thing.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's the exact same way I feel in regards to it. It's lacking, to say the least. Especially when later on we'll go over a greater boon that is absolutely absurd for water.
Oh yeah, I like that one.
But moving on to the lesser boon of Pavarti, as you gain this boon, put 6 durability counters on a siegeable domain you control, or put 3 counters on a siegeable domain you don't control. And 0 cost, mind you.
This is the lesser boon?
This is a lesser boon.
I mean, that's kind of cracked. And depending on certain cases, like if you can already keep your siegeable domain safe, and it's one that is really applying a lot of pressures at the board, like tri-castles, that's kind of cracked.
So keep in mind that the token that you get at the beginning of the game, the boon or bane or whatever of protection, is a siegeable domain. Okay, every player starts with that. That is a 6 toughness domain or 6 durability domain. Okay, that your opponent has to destroy before they can start dealing damage to you, the player. Okay,
You know what's funny? That card that just came out in PTM that does extra damage to domains, I think it's going to be disgusting.
Correct. But basically, because of that siegeable domain and whatnot, there is an interaction with this card. So with that in mind, what do you guys think?
I mean, I still think it's a decent boon. It's just gonna come down to, like, is there another lesser boon that does more for you? I think this is a good default boon. Or a good boon for a deck that is trying to stall and set up, then you can extend your shield for more setup time. But outside of that, I think it's just gonna be a good default that people are gonna go to if you don't have a better lesser room at that point, because that's what it comes down to, is like there's still so many boons that are being revealed. Like, is there gonna be something that's just better?
Yeah.
Seems like a.
What's your opinion for it?
I agree. I think it's a good, like a good standard boon. Like if you don't have any better options, it definitely has like a starter deck feel to it. I kind of feel like we'll be getting these out of the precons, probably. Yeah, so it adds durability to weapons as well.
No. This is one specifically that is 6 durability counters to your domain, or 3 durability counters to another player's domain.
It adds 6 life to a siegeable domain, or puts 3 damage on a
I didn't know if
siegeable
I
domain.
heard like weapon or not. Cause, damn, that'd be obscene.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there might be something that does something with that, but
I think it's solid. Especially like you said, like if that like shield we get at the beginning of the game is a siegeable domain, that's pretty solid, because you're basically not taking any damage. So yeah, I'm a fan of it.
I mean, basically, it tanks 12 damage for you. That's the way I see it, and I mean that's always good in multiple formats. It doesn't matter where you're at in regards to it.
Like, I think it's
being
good.
able to have, being able to have something else tank that 12 damage for you is always great. There's going to be other classes that are going to play something probably better, but in all honesty, I think for the thought process behind certain decks like Tony, who takes a while to get set up, this is definitely a very good and viable option for Toniers as a whole to be able to utilize to stall the game to the late game, so that way you can start getting your automaton drone tokens out and start building up, or even your greatsword tokens out and start building up.
It's fair.
But moving on to the next one, we have the Greater Boon of Enki. It's a 5-cost boon. It's level locked, level 2, so you have to obviously be level 2 or greater to use it. As you gain this boon, you draw a card. Whenever you summon 1 or more tokens with a reserve cost of 1 or less, for the first time each turn, summon a copy of one of those tokens. What's your opinion?
So, like, each turn you get to summon a copy of a token?
No. So it's whenever those tokens that cost 1 or less are brought onto the board, you make an additional one once per turn.
Okay.
Additional.
Okay.
No, this is the one you were talking about.
Correct.
I mean, I think this has a lot of utility.
Yeah.
In a lot of things. Because Arisana is a token-based strategy with the herbs and everything, so that means Arisana could literally bring out 2 herbs every turn.
Yep.
Because I'm pretty sure all those herbs are
1 or less. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm almost positive they are.
Wonder what, like, I can't remember what the Diao-Chan one is, because like when you play these tokens, like you don't look at the cost on them.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a lot of utility behind it.
If the Diao-Chan ones can be copied, like that's gonna be nasty.
Well, I mean, like I know the fledgling tokens can be copied, which is sort of funny because you can play bird tribal in theory if we get enough birds. So.
No, but like think about this though. Diao-Chan has an ability. Her one card spawns a bunch of flower bud tokens, and then she has another card that turns those flower bud tokens into a whole different kind of token. So if this card reads the way that I think it does, that means like when you play flower buds, you're getting double the. So let's say you get 5 flower buds, you're gonna get 10. And then when you
Well, it's only the first instance that they're made. Make an additional one. You don't make double. You only make an additional one.
yeah. So if the first instance makes 5,
You make one more.
I guess it would depend if they come in individually or not.
So flowerbud tokens are one cost.
Okay, so because all right, so this let me get this right. This card reads the first instance that a token comes into play, make a copy of that token, right?
One or more tokens come into play. You make one additional.
Okay.
copy
See,
of
one
that
or
token.
more. Okay, that.
Correct.
Okay, I didn't catch that part of it. That makes a lot of that's different.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's still really good though in like a lot of cases, because being able, like in Arisana, being able to every time you get an herb, like, so if you have Gathering Pouch, every time you gather, you get 2 herbs.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good.
What's your opinion, Corey?
I really like it. As someone who likes token strategies, I'm a big fan of this one.
So here's the way I look at it. So even without ingredient pouch, but let's say you have fertile grounds on board, okay? You get to make 2 copies of whatever token it is that you're targeting. So you get the first copy off the fertile grounds, okay? At the whenever your turn starts and whatnot at the beginning of recollection phase, you summon a token copy of the card. So basically, at the end of the day, you're getting 2 tokens every turn. And mind you, it's not only during your turn you get this additional token. So if you have a way to make the token during your opponent's turn through like ingredient pouch and whatnot, you can gain an additional token that way as well. So I definitely think this one's really good. Say again?
Because as a Tony player, this boon makes me happy.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I definitely think that it has its nice plays. I definitely feel Arsano's definitely going to enjoy it, and Tony is definitely going to enjoy it as well.
Yeah, because reciprocity now brings out 2 tokens.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's really good.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy to think about, because I mean, it's not just reciprocity as well. You also have fabrication or whatever. During your opponent's turn, you can pay 3 into it, rest it, and you get 2 tokens for the price of 1.
Dalton can't say reciprocity.
You're right. I can't. I have a stutter. I can't. Lesser. So moving on, the lesser boon of, I'm just going to call it the lesser boon of cannoli.
Because you can't say that either.
Well, it's canola. Canola.
Granola.
I'm just saying it's cannoli. All right, lesser boon of cannoli.
Canola oil. Let's go.
It's a 3-cost boon. It says as you gain this boon, any number of target players sends the top 3 cards of their deck to the graveyard.
I mean, I think this card's bad.
What's your reason behind it being bad?
Because right now nobody wants to send anybody's cards from the a small amount like that to the discard pile because of the fact that you can give your opponent free floating.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's gonna be the same way in Pantheon, where giving your opponent, unless there was a direct way to get rid of things immediately that go to the discard pile like that, I think giving your opponent any kind of free advantage like that is bad.
Mm-hmm. And what's your opinion, Corey?
I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, maybe if you have a sensor restful piece or something on board, maybe it'll be worth it more. But as it stands with how float is and everything, I would just be, especially if my opponent's playing water. Oh boy, no.
That's fair. I mean, I think it's really bad just due to the fact of it does nothing else besides mill all like
Yeah.
Well, here's
players
all right. So
basically.
let's take this a step further. So let's take a look at some of the cards that are going to be really good in Paragon or Paragon Pantheon.
Pantheon, Aragon, wow.
Hey, Paragon's a good MOBA. Okay. Anyway, that one there's anything that has like Kindle or Deluge or anything like that is going to extremely benefit from dumping cards to the discard pile like that, especially that one card. I can't remember what it's like, something Exorcist or whatever, but it banishes everything in the discard pile that's not water.
Yeah.
So turning on your opponent's skills for stuff like that, you know, you've got slimes that just don't give a shit. You put their stuff in the discard pile, and then you just play slime eruption, banish them all, and deal a shit ton of damage to your opponent. It's just there's too many things that you can enable by dumping 3 cards, and you have to remember it's not just you're dumping one player's cards at this point. You're dumping 3 cards from everybody, so you're potentially giving multiple players a benefit,
Mm-hmm.
which makes it even worse.
Yeah, and that's something that I mean I definitely feel no one's really going to play it be just due to the fact of it's there's no point to it. You have the possibility to give opponents advantage, and I much rather not take that chance. I much rather play the lesser boon of Parvati and give additional 6 counters to my domain to go and just delay the game more than play that and mill everyone 3 with the chance of giving them advantage possibly on their turn.
Now, on the spin, like coming back to this, like on the other side of the fence here, a card like I just said, like that Exorcist card that comes down and banishes all non-water. Like if you're the only water player at the table and you know you're going to mill 3 water and your opponent isn't, like it is something like that is a benefit at that point, because you're getting rid of all your opponent's shit and it's not hurting you. So, but that is a very, very niche thing.
Correct.
As opposed to, like, you know, hey, I'm gonna give everybody, like, here everybody, like here's a party favor, you know, have at it, like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we'll keep moving along because I mean I think we basically covered everything in regards to that one, all in all. The next one is lesser boon of ducks. It's specifically class locked on Guardian. And it states, as you gain this boon, choose an ally and it becomes fostered.
I mean, I'm kind of disappointed that it just doesn't summon a bunch of duck tokens. Like, when you said lesser boon of ducks, I got excited for a second there. I'm like, oh my god, does this summon like a bunch of ducks? Like, but
I would be sort of happy if that happened. I'm not gonna lie, because bird cry would be a thing.
But I guess fostering's cool. I think I'd need to see more foster support, because like the foster support that we have right now didn't really take off as it is. And there's really not a lot of it.
No, there's not.
So, and you know, we're talking Pantheon here, so that means you're playing one copy of each of these cards, so there's even less of it.
Mm-hmm.
So if we get more foster support and it's good, then hell yeah. If not, then cards shit.
Yeah.
What's your opinion, Corey?
I'm the same when it comes to foster. Like I like the mechanic. It's just like there's not a lot of support for it, and sadly, like there's a lot of there's good foster cards. Like, but they're
keep in mind
spread out
you can
with those
foster.
different elements.
You can foster anything that doesn't have foster. If it has foster on the card, it just means that it can foster itself. You can technically play a card that fosters, and you can foster a unit without foster. Did I say foster enough?
Yeah. But what does it do? Like when you foster it?
Nothing. It just becomes fostered.
Oh yeah, it's
Unless the card has like when this unit becomes fostered, do X Y Z, or if this unit
oh
is
yeah, no, I
fostered and
get
it
that.
gets
Yeah,
blocked, it does nothing when you foster a unit
yeah.
that doesn't have foster.
Well, yeah, no, I get that. It's just like there's cool Foster stuff. It's just like it's split up between either different elements, different like champs that like have like. There's a lot of good Foster stuff with Assassin, but you can't use it because it's Guardian, and like unfortunately, I think Guardian got the least Foster stuff out of everything. But and like there's cool stuff in red, but then because I was thinking about making like a power cell deck with this, but like I would have to play green, and then like a lot of the cool offensive like automaton stuff is like red or like red and sometimes green, but then a lot of that stuff is an assassin, and it's like, well, shit.
Mhm.
They're like, I don't know, like Foster was a cool concept, but then they split it up. So I think it all should have been like either like one element or locked to all Guardian instead of like
Mhm.
there's a lot of Foster stuff and automaton stuff in Assassin, and it's like why isn't it supposed to be
Yeah.
like Tony's thing with the automatons? No,
No, the automatons are supposed to be like looking at lore and everything. They're like, if I remember correctly, I think Tony was like, wasn't he like racist against automatons or something like that?
no, he was working for him.
Okay,
Yeah, he was hired by them.
gotcha.
Specifically, he was hired by Cordelia.
Yeah,
So, um, regardless, my opinion in regards to it is, you know, I don't see myself playing a lesser boon just to foster one unit. It's
yeah,
sort of pointless. I'd much
Yeah.
rather have the wait for it due to the fact of that there's three other players that more than likely your opponents are going to target in comparison to you, or at least two other players in comparison that your opponent's going to target more than what they're going to target you, because you're 9 times out of 10 going to have to wait a full cycle around all 3 turns. And I mean, if you drop it the first turn, more than likely you're going to get fostered.
Yeah,
More than likely in regards to that.
I
But I
almost
just don't
I
think it's
almost wish
worth
this
it.
card said. I almost wish that it said like at the start of your turn, a unit becomes fostered, or like an ally becomes fostered.
That would be a lot better, I feel.
Like, because like foster as like in itself, like if you give it to something that doesn't have any foster effect, like you're not really doing anything. You're just giving it fostered, and the only thing that that's gonna enable is that one. I can't remember its name. It's like the engine for the foster deck. That whenever a card becomes foster, you draw a card to memory.
Oh, you're talking about what, Shield Master?
Yeah, Shield Master, that guy.
oh yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, so whenever
Yeah,
so
I
you get
love
that,
Shield
and then your
Master.
fostered units get +1/+1.
Yeah, I love Shield Master.
Yeah,
His
so
design was
but that's all you
simple,
get
but
from it though. Like it's
yeah,
and again, it's Pantheon, one card in an entire deck.
yeah.
So, if this read at at the beginning of your turn, like you may foster a unit, or even if one unit became fostered, you may foster another, like something like that. But like a one-time foster effect, dog shit.
Mhm. Yeah, I definitely feel it's lacking. And I mean, obviously, we'll probably get something better in the future, but for their first run, I definitely feel they didn't hit the ball rolling with that one. That's for sure. Um, so we'll just move to the next one. So we have Lesser Boon of Awilix. It's a zero cost boon. It has, as you gain this boon, put up to 4 target regalia cards from any banishment into their owner's material deck.
Absolutely busted. Absolutely absurd card. I don't
Give your
see.
reasoning.
I don't see. All right, so this is not class lock.
Correct. It is not class lock.
Okay, so anybody can use this, and it's a lesser boon.
Correct.
For a lesser boon, like that's kind of busted. You get to take 4 cards out of play, and put them back into your material deck, like because it says choose a player, right?
Uh, As you gain this boon, put up to 4 target regalia cards from any banishment into their owner's material deck. So you don't target the player themselves. You just choose any 4 regalia that are banished and put them back into the material deck.
Yeah. So that's absurd. Like just being able to like you can recycle your own, and then let's say they're playing like Crux Knight Lorraine. You just put their swords back, and she loses all her power.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, like that's again a very niche thing, but in general, just being able to put 4 regalia back, like that's crazy. Like think about that. Like that means you get to use your Grand Crusader's ring again, or whatever divine relic you had there. Any other busted cards that you had that like might have gotten kicked because the material deck has some of the most potent cards in the game.
Yeah, that's where a lot of your draw comes from.
So being able to essentially have 2 of each of them, obviously you can only put back 4, but you would put back the 4 most busted ones. Like, it's really good. Like, quite frankly, I feel like that's going to be the one that like most people resort to.
That's probably going to be the staple.
I mean, there's a couple in there probably going to take priority, and that's just due to the mechanics that they.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I think it's definitely again another good default one. Like, I can't pick a lesser boon that, there's none that really are doing much for me. So like, I'm just gonna go with this one. Like, I would go with this one over the last one that I said was default.
Yeah, that's fair. Corey, what's your opinion?
I find it absolutely busted too. Like it's really self-explanatory. Like you can basically what Travis said. You just recycle all your good like regalia, or you can fuck with like I think you can even fuck with Rye too, right? Because he rolls around the banner zone. Correct?
Not really, because most of his stuff from the material deck isn't arcane.
I think there's one card that's arcane from the material deck, but it doesn't really matter.
He needs arcane cards banished
to
benefit. Yeah. However, though, he could benefit from getting 4 regalia back.
Mm-hmm. So we'll move to the next one because it looks like I'm going to have a call here shortly from work. Lesser boon of revelry. Hold on, that's my call. Hold on, give me one moment.
While he's doing that, let me see if I can find it because I have these up on here. What do you say we're on? Revelry?
Yeah. I think that's the level locked one. Choose an ally and put a buff counter on it.
Oh, okay. I was like right there. How did I miss that? Oh, there it is. Yeah. So level lock to level 1. So that means you can only play this in a level 1 deck, right?
I think, or
you can only activate it at level 1, I guess.
Yeah. Or maybe minimum 1.
Yeah. So it's basically
target player, like you pay 3, target player that controls exactly 1 ally, puts a buff counter on an ally they control without a buff counter on it. It's okay.
Yeah, it sounds like a low to the ground strat type deck.
What is your question in regards to the level lock?
What's up?
I was whenever I put my earbud back in, and you were talking about level lock or whatever.
I was saying I think you just have to be level 1 to use it. I don't think you have to only play the level 1.
So you have to be a minimum of level 1, but you can use it on your level 2 or level 3 or level 4 if there's ever a level 4 that's available, and so on and so forth. You can activate anytime as long as you are minimum level 1.
In general though, like I think it's just there. Like Sylvie might use it.
Mm-hmm.
I can see Sylvie using it to stick something big to the board really early, because if you go Sylvie level 1, trip this boon, and then play like an animal or a beast, like it'll come out with like 2 buff counters, right? Well, it'll come out with one from Sylvie, then you trip this boon, and it'll give it a buff counter. And then
so does Sylvie state that whenever it enters, you get to put a buff counter, or as it enters with a buff counter?
Yeah, so you'd have to trip this after it comes in. And then it would get a buff counter, right? And you can pay 3 and put another buff counter on something without a buff counter?
Correct. You can pay 3 and put a buff counter on any ally as long as they control. I think it's if they control exactly one ally, they can put a buff counter on any ally they control. Yeah.
All right, hold on. Let me look at this again real quick.
They must control exactly one ally without any buff counters on to use the pay 3 cost.
Okay, so basically, this is tricky. So like, it's still good in Sylvie because like, it's just gonna sit there and give you the constant access of pay 3, put a buff counter if you have one thing out. Am I reading that right?
So if you have exactly one unit, you can pay 3. As long as it doesn't have a buff counter on it, you can put a buff counter on it.
Yeah, that's really good. So the second effect, it doesn't have to be you don't have to. Oh, you have to have exactly one ally. Okay, but still
Correct.
though, there's a lot of times where they're just gonna like clean your board off, and then you just reestablish an ally.
Correct. Or if you decide to go up to level 3 Sylvie and decide to go and look at the top X amount or whatever to grab a free ally, and that's the only one you have on board, you can just make it even better. You can make Crawl gain a buff counter.
Dude, what's even scarier is like an ethereal slime with this fucking card. Like that. Now here's the cool thing. All right, so this is a fast speed. So there's going to be windows of opportunity where you can trip this when another card is like triggering to put a buff counter on, and as long as this resolves first, technically you wouldn't have that buff counter. So you got to think about it for a second. Like if you, let's say that one slime card, it's like a win card that puts a buff counter on slime. Like if you play that and then you respond to that with this to activate it, it'll come in, put a buff counter on something, or you can do it in response to like something coming in and getting a buff counter on it. So when that trigger is on the stack, you would just respond with this, put another buff or put a buff counter on it before that. This would resolve, then it would get its buff counter from its effect. Because technically you're meeting guidelines of it, like as long as you don't have a buff counter on it. So if you're responding to a trigger that places a buff counter, that's completely legal. So I think this card has a lot of versatility in like specifically Sylvie or an ally based, like I mean one of the other ones that comes to mind is Guoja, where you know a lot of the time you're sitting out there with just a ship on board.
Yep.
That's true, yeah.
So, oh wait, hold on, this is a spell. Never mind.
No, that's right, you can't target.
Yep, you can't target it because it's spell. Ooh, good on you, Weebs.
Yeah, that's actually funny. They made it so you can't. Well, yeah, you can't do anything about for the Senjus.
No, because they have spell shroud.
It means I can't put it on my Cheshire cat. I'm pissed.
Yeah. So I mean, but that's good though that it has some checks and balances to it. I still think it's a pretty versatile card. Like, it's got a lot of utility.
Yep.
All right, what's the next one, Dalton?
We went over Revelry.
Yep.
So the next one is Lesser Boon of Zerusa. It is a zero-cost assassin locked boon. Pay 2, put a prep counter on your champion. This ability costs 1 more for each time you use it.
This card's cracked.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not fast speed, so I'm guessing that I'd have to find out. Because it's not fast speed to activate, but I'm wondering if the effect on board is fast speed or if it maintains the slow. Because boons are like a new type of card.
Correct.
So I'd have to find out like what the actual like ruling for this would be, because as far as I understand, unless it states otherwise that it's slow, which in this case it says slow on the card, so I'm wondering if it's a slow based effect. If this is a fast speed effect, this card's absurd.
Oh yeah, and that's what I was saying before. Like like there's certain cards that they're going to play over some of these boons that we think are absolutely busted because it benefits the game plan of said deck.
Now, if boons maintain the same speed as which they're cast at, which I'm kind of thinking is probably how they're gonna rule that, and if not, like that's crazy because some of these boons are just gonna pop off. But if it's activated at slow speed, but you can use the effect at fast speed because it's already on the board at that point. This card's cracked because you're just gonna generate prep counters like crazy.
Correct. I mean, even at slow speed, you're still going to play it, and the only reason being is because you're not able to generate a ton through the main board as it stands because there's not enough units to consistently generate prep counters.
Yes and no. Because there's still gonna be a bunch of stuff that they're gonna be printing for Pantheon. Which we haven't seen. So
well, I mean, so what I'm saying is with the current knowledge we have in regards to it, okay? Because you have to think about, okay, of the set, because it's an RDO set, there's 400 and I think it's like 56 cards where that's being total printed, okay? Of that card set, they haven't announced what is what and everything, but they stated before that roughly around, I think it's like 175 or whatever, is reprints between commons, rares, etc.
Yeah.
So, like, you have to think about it. They have to make enough cards for Pantheon. So there's probably only going to be like 60, 70 cards for Pantheon, and the rest is probably going to be the main set itself. So, I mean, because, they're going to be supporting every class in the regular set for RDO. So with that in mind, you can go and put in 1 or 2 cards, one of every unit, like every element for prep counter generation, etc. But at the end of the day, it's still not going to be enough to consistently generate prep counters in the main board. So if you're playing Assassin and you need prep counters, you're going to be reliant on that card effect or that boon to be able to give you the additional prep counters you need to be able to do things like Shadow Strike, redirect attacks to Shadow tokens, etc.
Possibly. I still believe that there's gonna be other ways to utilize things, but I think this card is definitely a mainstay if its effect activating its slow speed makes it a little less effective because that means that you have to hard pay for this every single time. You can't just be like, okay, recollection, I put these down because I have these left over in hand. So at that point, it makes this card look bad because your first one's free, right? Or no, it's pay 2, put a preparation, and then it costs 1 more every time you do it. So you got to think, like, you're not going to want to put down 3 or 4 cards just to get a prep counter.
Yeah.
So now fast speed changes all that completely because it's like, oh, okay, at your end step, at my recollection step, when I'm taking a piss, like it's whenever whenever the hell you feel like it. But at slow speed, it's slow speed. Like you have to do this during your main phase, and it could have been a card that you were gonna play or hold up to play, and you're paying for this boon that like you might not even get to use that prep counter.
Mhm.
So, because everything I've ever seen with Assassin is speedy, and this is not speedy if it's not at fast speed.
Mhm.
So, the only other way to
What's
play
your thought
around this,
process?
the only other way to play around this card slightly, and it starts to lose effectiveness after a while, is Sadie, and you have to find it first, and then Sadie has to kill something, and it only bounces back 3.
Mhm.
So after using this card twice, Sadie's effectiveness is like toast.
Mhm.
For me, I'm kind of in agreement with Travis. Like, I'm not really a prep counter guy. Like, I haven't really ever played Assassin, so I'm not the most knowledgeable on it. But I know that, like, yeah, depending on how it's ruled. Like, if I have to manually pay for this every time just for one prep counter, it's kind of meh to me. Especially like late game, where like you might not have the hand to do it, or you might have the hand to do it. Who knows? But yeah, I'm right now. It just seems okay. Like kind of like if it's ruled that that's fast speed and you can do that during rec phase, then a lot of these
Mhm.
that are coming up, because there's a few of them that are like this. Um,
Mhm.
I didn't actually think about it not being, or it being slow speed and not being fast. Travis brought up a good point. I never actually read that part of it, but
Mhm.
yeah. I hope it's ruled as fast speed, because some of these might go down in my list if
Mhm.
that's the case. But as it stands, it seems on paper to be a really solid card, and if the rulings work out for it, then it's going to be an amazing card.
Mhm. I mean, I personally think regardless it's going to be played, and the only reason being is because the limitation of the available prep counters, and that's just through me building a Win Tristan Pantheon deck already and seeing what few pieces we have available right now. Now, yes, we are going to get more cards in RVO, but with the current knowledge that we have, this is a huge consistency buff, especially since you want to utilize Cunning Broker to constantly have additional draws every turn to get to all the pieces that you want. And that costs you 2 prep counters every single turn. So using Grimstalker along with Windwalker boots, you're at a neutral 0 for your prep counters. So being able to put down 2 cards and whatnot to be able to gain a prep counter, and then 3, and then 4, and then so on and so forth, over time it just pays off as just an additional plus for the deck, which is the whole thing I'm looking at. But moving forward, we'll move on to the next one. Next one is Lesser Boon of Time's Passage. It is a slow speed 8 cost boon. It has, at the beginning of the recollection phase, draw a card into your memory. Trigger this ability only twice.
Getting your recollection, drawing card, disability. I mean, this card's effectively a +2 in itself. So
Over
generically,
time, yes.
yeah. So for 2 turns, you get an extra card.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty strong.
Yeah, but it's a slow speed.
Yeah,
So to play,
it's a
you
slow
have to
speed.
put down 8 cards at slow speed
Yeah.
to go
So,
and use it.
okay, so think about this. So turn 1, all right. So the way that the rules work is turn player does not, like, turn 1, like, first player does not draw a card. Everybody else still gets to draw a card. If you're on a regular spirit, you're drawing 7 plus your card. That's 8. On the first turn of the game, I would gladly pay 8 for this to get an additional draw for 2 turns.
I
If
mean,
I
I
did,
guess that's fair.
yeah, if I did not go first and it is the first turn of the game, and usually the first turn of the game, especially with 4 people playing, you're not going to want to put something out there that someone else is going to fuck with.
Mm-hmm.
So I would much rather build my resources for a couple of turns, and like this might be the water player in me talking, but I would rather build up my resources and wait and interrupt someone else's play than put something out there that's just gonna get like destroyed because nobody likes it.
I mean, I personally just much rather play a fortuitous spirit instead.
I mean, you could do that, but you're still only drawing so many. Like, the fact that this gives an additional, like, it's a +2 over 2 turns, like, that's pretty strong. This is basically
Corey, go ahead.
This is basically a pot of greed over 2 turns.
I mean,
So,
I
so
don't know.
all right, so I'm
don't
gonna look.
see it
All right,
because
hold on. So, let me drop info from another game here real quick. So, in Yu-Gi-Oh, when I played, there was a card that came out called Shard of Greed, and it took 3 turns to set up that card because each turn you had to tap it, and when you had 3 shards, you could pop it to draw 2. And that card was deemed, and that card sat on the board and was able to be fucked with. So, in my opinion, a card like this is really solid. Because if a card like that is deemed good enough, where you have to wait 3 turns, leave a card sitting on the board that can be messed with, so you might not get value from it at all, and then you get your value from it. If a card like that can be good in a card game like Standard, I don't see why this card is anything less than really good. This card is only bad if you go first.
yeah, that's the whole thing. Is you don't know if you're going first or second. Your boons are placed
I understand
right at the
that
beginning before anything.
I understand that
So
completely. But
so if you go first though, then this boon becomes basically useless.
it doesn't become basically, because you can still remember you're in a 4-person game here. They're not like, nobody's gonna allow one person to just strictly target one person. It's a game of
I mean, that's if you have the interaction to be able to do so. That's the whole entire issue.
But it's a whole game of politics, because if you take out one person, that's one less person to help fix a problem later on.
Because so to waste a whole turn to basically be able to play this, I don't see a point behind it.
I mean, you and I have 2 different outlooks on this then, because I think this card is great. I think as a generic thing, like, if you want to look at it like that and be like, okay, cool, I could play this, or I could just get a card that over time lets me draw 2, or if you think of it like this, it lets you draw 2 cards for 2 turns.
Yeah, but still, like, at the same point in time, the one that puts back forward Gallia is better because you get additional materializations and whatnot, and you get to go and draw more cards over time than what this one does.
That's
and
true,
that's a 0
but you have to
in
build up to
comparison
that.
an 8 cost.
You have to build up to that point, and if you're thinking on that concept, that takes 5 turns.
Yeah, but you also draw an additional 2.
What do you mean you draw an additional?
Okay, so if you put back, let's say, Backup Charger Scepter, GCR, and Tengu, okay?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're gaining an additional 2 in comparison to this, because this you pay 8 into, okay?
But you're also wasting
draw
a materialization on a draw card that could have been a materialization of something else.
Correct, but at the same point in time, if you're in the late game and you just put those cards back, it's no skin off your back. Because you're going to want to go and build card advantage and have card advantage as long as you can in Pantheon, because you want to have interaction for all players or most players through most of their plays.
So another thing you're not looking at here too about this card is, like, in a deck like Diao-chan, this card's absurd, because you don't care if you're putting cards down, because you can use glimmer counters to cast something from your memory.
I mean, that's one deck though. That's not just
it is. I'm just specifying that certain decks can benefit from this card. So, either way, even if this has to get if you in that rare occurrence that you excuse me, in that rare occurrence that you have to go first, this card it does lose effectiveness, I would say, but it's along the same lines of effectiveness as if you were playing a Fortuitous Spirit, because you're giving up that first turn regardless. So personally, like, I still feel like this card has a really strong plate, especially in a game, especially in a 4-person game where everyone's going to be kind of like in their time on things, trying to, because if a threat gets put out onto board right away, it's going to get nuked. So I think a card that allows more setup is effective. I think this is one of those upper echelon lesser boons by comparison to some of the ones I've seen. But
I would say it's a solid 4, the 4th ranked one instead of the first 3.
I'd put it in my top 3. The Regalia one is definitely really good, but I would put this in my top 3. But we haven't gotten Corey's opinion yet, so.
Oh, boy howdy. I don't really know what else to end. Like, I would say that on paper it seems like a really good card. It being an 8 cost is sheesh, but like you guys said, there's ways to do it. I think it's definitely one to keep an eye out for. For me, a lot of these I would have to like play them first. Like, theory crafting's never really been like my big thing, but I would give it maybe like a 3.5 out of 5. I think. I think it has potential, especially like the way that you can use it.
All right. Well, we'll move to the next one. Next one is Lesser Boon of Show. Clash block specifically for Mage. It is a 0 cost Lesser Boon. As you gain this boon, play an Enlightenment counter on your champion. At the beginning of your end phase, play an Enlightenment counter on your champion. And slow speed.
And it just keeps putting Enlightenment counters on your champion, basically?
At the beginning of your end phase, every end phase, you keep getting an Enlightenment counter.
Okay, so it's an additional Enlightenment counter every turn. So a deck like Rye that gets one for playing your first mage spell right off rip, and then you'll get one like this. Like, yeah, this is pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, like, if you're playing Rye, you'd play this over the last one that we talked about, because your inherent mechanic that you have, like, this just benefits it.
Mm-hmm.
It also offsets some of these things, because like a card like Careful Study, I think only puts 5 Enlightenment counters on you.
I believe so, yes.
So like if you have a card that puts like a weird number of Enlightenment counters on you, this will balance it out.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for like a mage deck or a deck that uses Enlightenment counters, like, this is great. But
Yeah.
only for mage, like, because nothing
Correct.
else really uses Enlightenment counters. I'd argue this is only good for Rye.
Correct, and that's exactly the way I see it. What about you, Corey? Corey, you there?
Might have lost Corey for a minute.
No, I'm here.
Oh,
sorry, I didn't know who. It's a mage card. It puts Enlightenment counters on. It does mage thing. So yeah, it puts a beating in your face. Yeah, it puts Enlightenment counters on, and I don't really have much insight. It's just it makes Rise.
I mean, the way I see it is, worst comes to worst, if you're at Rye level 2 and everything, because I think it's a level 2 that gives you the effect to gain an Enlightenment counter. I want to say yes. Well, I think it's level 2.
I think so.
Regardless,
Yeah.
if you're at least level 2, it's basically an every other turn additional card is what it is at the end of the day, for Rye specifically, which definitely helps out with card advantage and making certain that there is always card um, cards available to you and card advantage reliably available to you. So I mean, for Mage, for specifically Rye, it's definitely the best one that he'll have access to as a lesser boon that costs nothing.
Yeah, 'cause I
Yeah.
don't think
All right.
Colin
So I
really
just
uses
want to
it.
point this out real quick, just because we were talking about the last boon. In chat, Quackums brought up a good point that he said it's perfectly fine in a 4-person format to play a Fort Spirit and play that last boon that lets you draw an additional card for 2 turns.
I mean, I much rather play something else that's just going to expedite my plans.
Yeah, but that's player preference as well. Like, looking at it from a strict card economy point, like it's really good.
I mean,
Anyway, we got to get through the
Hey,
rest of these
Fortuna
boons.
Spirit is good now, baby. Let's go.
yeah.
All right, what do we got next?
So, next one is Lesser Boon of Nuwa. Class lock
this
Guardian
one.
Warrior. As you gain this boon, generate a refurbished card and put it into your memory.
Let's go, baby.
Whenever you activate a craft card, target weapon gets +1 attack until end of turn.
This is interesting. Personally, I think this should just say, like, you get a refurbish, and once you play so many refurbishes, Silidar just comes in and flips the table. Because, like, refurbish is like his thing. I think Corey has the refurbished mat too.
I have it somewhere. I think I still have it in storage. I've been looking for it. I might try to look for it on Saturday.
This deck,
Yeah.
this card is basically a judge call and a card, which basically just says, like, put refurbishes into your deck. Because that's the way it's supposed to be. Is like, if you're missing cards from your deck, like, if you put in your deck list and let's say you have 58 cards when you get deck checked, they replace those missing cards with refurbishes.
So I mean, what's everyone's opinion? Good, bad, etc. And why?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the whole thing working with craft cards, like, that's interesting, but we don't have a lot of craft cards right now. But this will be really good with that one warrior sword that gets bonuses off of craft cards.
Vow.
Yeah.
Sword Saint's Vow.
Sword Saint's Vow. Yeah, this will go nuts with. But I can't see it being played over some of these other options though. In all honesty, like, it's funny. Like, you can make a really interesting and funny deck with this card, but it's just outclassed.
You guys are missing one of our favorite cards, but I'll let Corey go first, and then I'll break it down.
Yeah, I'm just looking at, like, the craft cards we have. We have Tempered Steel. Wow, there's a lot of different versions of Tempered Steel. Manufacturer sells a craft card. That's interesting. Cell forging. Wow, a lot of power cells have craft. I never realized that. It's okay. Like, I think if we get, like, more craft cards, maybe it'll be interesting.
I mean, refurbish is also a 4-cost card. Like, so that's
yeah,
a 5.
I'm looking at that.
That's a 5-card commitment, man, for a buff counter.
Yeah, that's
so. This is the way I look at it. Okay, it gives you reciprocity for an extra turn, and then gives you refurbish to buff the reciprocity, so that way you can generate 2 tokens every turn guaranteed. And then on top of that, you can then use refabrication during your opponent's turn. The 1 3-cost tap card for Tony that just generates an automaton token, and just sit there and just be like, oh, okay, here we go. We're just going to generate 2 tokens during your turn. And keep in mind that under certain conditions, those tokens are going to be 3/3s.
I'm just over here laughing because Dalton
3/3s,
can't say reciprocity.
You know what? Listen here, all right? I don't need your shit, all right?
I like I get where you're coming from, but I don't know if it's worth a lesser boon slot instead of the one that just kind of clones tokens. Like,
I think that was a greater boon. I don't think that was a lesser boon.
Wait, the one that clones tokens?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was a greater boon.
No, it's a no, that's the Foster one. That might have been the greater.
No, that's a greater boon.
Is it?
It's
Okay.
a greater boon of entity. Is the one that generates
maybe
additional
then.
tokens.
I don't know. Like, I guess you're generating a refurbish, but like, depending on where you are in the game state, Tony may like Tony does like to play fire, so like there are a lot of like.
But
maybe.
refurbish though.
Well, I
Yeah,
know.
but
That's
remember,
the thing.
it's an additional card in your hand though, so you don't have to play it. You could just use it to commit towards other cards.
But refurbish though.
Again, like on paper, it seems cool. Like idea wise, I just have to like see.
You're gonna
like,
argue with me over a card. You're gonna argue with me over a card that creates a refurbish. But
Yes, I had.
like,
Dalton finds the good in everything, even pure dog shit.
apparently
so.
not. He
Well,
didn't
you're
find
not.
he didn't find the good in that boon that lets you draw an extra card for two turns. But refurbish is okay. Where's the line,
Look,
man?
so first off, it's a +1 guaranteed because you get the refurbish right into memory. Okay, cool, whatever. It's an additional card that you can utilize to play. But it's the point of that it guarantees that your weapon stays for longer, and or it gets an additional durability counter that just makes sure that your game plan is on track, like Sword Saint's Vow, or utilizing it for Tony's weapon, right? So like I see it as, it, yeah, sure, like,
But it's refurbish. It's a 5-card commitment.
but you don't have to play it though. It's still an additional card at the end of the day, and it's only for 2 instead of paying 8 into it.
We need to move on. We could be on this all night, dude. I'm not letting this one go. I will die on this hill.
Look, we can go and fight this out, on Tuesday for Brawl Night. We can just go at it.
You better be decking 4
regardless-
refurbishes then.
Oh man, definitely. I'm going 100% do that in my Alice deck. Yep, 100%.
Dude, I want to see you. I want to
refurbishes.
see you resolve multiple refurbishes and beat me.
I actually played someone at locals like a month or so back that played like a durability Lorraine deck, and it was interesting. He almost got a few games on me, but like he played refurbish and stuff. It was actually pretty funny.
That's probably because Sword Saint Vow. Vow just gets bigger for every 2 durability counters that are on it. But when you use it for an attack, you have to remove 2 counters, I believe, if I remember correctly.
You know what? Sword Saint's Vow makes a really nice material rock.
You know what? Listen here, alright? I don't need your crap in regards
Yeah,
to
you
this,
want it. That Sword Saint's Vow looks real nice with all them durability counters. Like, have fun tapping it for mana. Hey, you could use it to
Alright,
pay for
well-
another refurbish.
Alright, let's move on.
Yeah.
So, so this is the Greater Boon of Cannoli. It's a 16 cost boon.
Again, another
It's
word
slow
that Dalton
speed.
can't say.
You know what? Listen here, alright? Listen here, alright? I don't need your crap in regards to issues speaking.
Now we're
words out.
speaking Italian. It's like, yo, give me a cannoli.
It's level 2 locked.
Or you
this
need to
card
smack
costs
him with
4
some
less.
Valencia oranges or something. Like, seriously, man. Like, he's bringing shame to your people.
Oh my god. So, god damn it! Now I gotta restart this one. So you're level 2 locked.
It's
It costs 4
Kanaloa,
less-
by the way.
Huh?
It's Kanaloa, by the way.
Okay. All right. So cannoli for me, okay, because I'm not wasting my time to go and try and pronounce it local and still fail. Greater Boon of Cannoli, level 2 locked. This card costs 4 less for each graveyard with 8 or more cards in it. At the beginning of end phase, recover 2. Water allies you control get +1/+1, intercept, and vigor.
I mean, that all sounds really good. to be honest. That's a lot of keywords.
Yeah, I mean, and also +1/+1, and you flat recover 2 every single turn.
I mean, the
Like
fact
at
that
the end
the
of
fact
every
that you
turn.
get +1/+1 vigor and intercept, which are two like really strong defensive keywords, like I think the only thing that could have made this better was steadfast.
Correct.
So that's still really good. Like if you're playing a defensive strat with allies and everything, this is nuts.
Specifically water allies, because the buff only applies to water allies only.
I mean, yeah, like obviously water allies and everything, but water allies are pretty defensive as it is. So I look at this card. Quite frankly, I don't care about the intercept part, but there's an automaton that in water that's I think it's a 1/4 or an 0/4, but it has taunt, and then whenever it takes damage, you generate a power cell.
Power cell token. Yep.
Yeah, so this thing effectively has 5 health at that point, taunt and vigor. That's insane.
Yep.
You're just gonna be spitting out power cells left and right.
Yep. What's your opinion, Corey?
I really like this as someone who started like getting into water. Like I'm already kind of seeing like there's a lot of like just like Nico alone. Like you play Frostsworn Paladin, you play Aquafire Chancel. Like both of those already had like Aquafire already has taunt, so like he doesn't really need the intercept. But like just the ability to become a 4/5 and like can just because and can just stand back up after he's attacked is really strong, and like you can mill out a lot of people. Like even with like Silly Over with like Fractal Rain or whatever. Like there's I really like this card, and you recover 2 at the beginning of your end phase. So does this stick to the board, or does it just
Correct. It stays on the board constantly.
that's fucking good? Like burn be damned with like Nico. My goodness gracious, you're recovering 4 every time you take damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not every time you take damage. So like this only happens at the end of the turn. But still,
well, what I mean is like you take 4 like non-combat damage, you recover 2 instantly, and then you recover 2 at the end of the day. Ugh.
Yeah, it's just a passive recover 2, which is just absolutely nuts. So again, you're playing a defensive strategy. This is going to keep you in the game by healing you, and give you like really defensive and tanky allies.
And water allies seems to be getting really popular. So this is
water allies also have like really big asses. Like we're talking like 4 health, 5 health. You know, like
Tweedledum becomes a 1/5 baby.
Let's go.
Yeah. I mean,
dude, that one for CL that comes out hindered. That thing is a fucking 4/5.
That's what I was just talking about. Aquafire.
It's so gross.
And if you play it in CL, it becomes a 5/6.
Well, here's the thing. It also has vigor, so even though it comes out hindered, it'll stand up anyway.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, that's what I was just talking about.
That's so good.
Yeah, I definitely feel like there's a lot of good classes and good like champions that we could utilize to abuse the greater boon and make it just work so well. I mean, there's just so much you could do with it. It's not even funny, and like I'm really excited to go and see where that one goes. But moving on to the next one, Lesser Boon of Allurement. It is class locked for Cleric. As you gain this boon, the next Fantasia cards you activate this turn cost 2 less. And then pay 5, draw a card into memory. The cost is reduced by 1 for every Fantasia you control, and the effect can only be used once.
Wait, alright, so it's a draw card memory 1 time, and it's reduced by the amount of Fantasias you have. And the other one lets you play essentially a Fantasia for free because most of them are 2 cost anyway.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah, this card's nasty.
Yeah.
It's a free
and it costs 0?
Yeah.
Correct.
It's a free battery charger.
Now, it is slow speed, but God, that's
Correct.
fucking gross. Well, every Fractal or Fantasia based deck is gonna play this card. That's really good.
Yep.
'Cause you can
I
get
like it.
you can get that thing online, no problem.
Yeah.
Now it is going to make me question as to how many Fantasias and whatnot that we're going to have available for all players for next set when RDO comes out for Pantheon
There's a
specifically
lot of
and
Fantasias.
overall.
Dude,
Well,
like
yeah,
we
there's
already
a lot
have,
of them as it stands.
yeah, there's tons right now. And here's the busted thing, all right? Since banned cards are allowed in Pantheon, even as a one of, we now get that Fractal comes back. The one that lets you
shit.
glimpse 4 and is essentially free.
Yeah.
That's gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be, it's gonna be crazy. But yeah, like
Yeah. I mean,
this screams Diao Chan to me. Like I look at this card and I just see Diao Chan just having a field day with it.
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
reminds me. I need to buy Lost in Thoughts.
You don't have to
Yeah.
buy any.
Yeah.
I can give you one.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I think I have 4 of them too.
I have my pretty one that I can use because I wasn't able
Yeah.
to sell it before it got banned, and now I have a singular copy of it.
Yeah, there you go. You can play a super nice and shiny deck.
Yeah, I got the really pretty Lost in Thought. So
I mean, I know that's the whole reason why I bought my Grimstalker Tristan was just due to the fact of I knew I was going to be messing with that in Pantheon.
all right, let's get through the
Oh,
last of these
I got
boons
the
here
CSR.
so we can.
Oh, there's only one left.
Oh, is there only one left? Oh yeah.
No, that should be all of them.
No.
The last one should have been Allurement.
No, one came out today. Lesser Boon of Bullets.
Oh, I didn't
Oh,
see
the
this
bullet
one.
one. Yeah, that's the one I'm missing. That
Yeah.
one I have in the Facebook chat.
Yeah,
for us.
All right, so
yeah.
it's class locked. It's a zero
Ranger.
cost. It's a zero cost slow speed class locked. So Ranger class locked. K2 utilize a bullet card from your ability cost 1 activate time you activate. So it's basically like the prep counter one.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's basically the same thing.
It's the prep counter one, but for bullets. But this is really like so. As opposed to the prep counter one, this one actually has real utility because the one thing Ranger always suffered from when it first came out was being able to get a gun and a bullet on the board at the same time unless you played main deck bullets.
Mhm.
So, and at that point, like, we didn't have, like, Focusing Round or any of these other ones that came out in Alter. Like, you had, you know, like, you had whatever elemental rounds you had, and that was it. So this is really useful because not only do you get a bullet, it's a Regalia deck bullet, which has, you know, like, it goes back to the material deck. So this has way more utility, I think, than something that gets prep counters.
Correct.
So I think for Ranger that, like, if you're playing with guns, you need to play this.
Mhm.
Because it's going to guarantee, for the most part, like, yes, again, a big thing that's going to make or break cards like this are, can you activate the effect at fast speed, or does it maintain that slow tag that it has? Because as far as I know from how the game is right now, when you play something, you go by what the tag says, like slow or fast. But if it's a boon that sticks on the board, like once it's on the board, unless stated otherwise, like it'll say you can only activate this effect at slow speed, etc. Anything that doesn't have anything like that is fast speed. So it doesn't say that in the effect text, and technically the slow or fast is a casting text. So I need to know, like, and this is what I need to know as far as like Pantheon goes, and what these cards and how good they're really gonna be, is this effect fast speed or is it slow speed? Because that will make or break some of these cards. Because if I can just in recollection step be like, okay, cool, I gotta pay 3 this turn, cool, pay 3, recollection, get a bullet. Okay, cool, now I can fire this at you for 9. Like, it's it's gonna make cards like, it would make something like Trank Shot and everything really, really crazy good, because it would allow Diana effectively to lock down a player.
Yep. What's your thought process, Corey?
Same thing as before. Like, it really depends for me, like, if it's fast speed or not. But like, I'm not really like a ranger player, so I like my guardians and occasionally clerics. I know if this card does work the way people want it to, this shit's gonna be nutty in Diana. I know that. Getting flashbacks.
The PTSD is coming.
Oh yeah, that shit can punch out damage.
I mean, I definitely feel it's really, really good due to the fact of that your bullets in your Regalia deck also have renewables. So if you have to sack it for any reason just to go and gain like a card advantage or something, I know there is like one card aware that we got from the Merlin structure deck where it basically states that you have to sacrifice a Regalia or whatever, and you get to draw a card and I think something else. You can just utilize that alongside of it, and then you just get a generic draw off of it, which isn't bad. I mean, you're having to pay 2 to get the bullet, but then it goes back to material deck anyway, so you can just materialize it again the next turn if you really want to.
But again, it comes down to, can you activate this at fast speed or not? Because at that point,
correct,
you're playing slow speed. Whatever you have to pay for this card, then whatever you have to pay for the card to get rid of the bullet and draw a card, whatever. Like, you're losing hand advantage at that point.
Yeah, I definitely feel there needs to be clarification in regards to ruling for boons specifically, especially if they're going to stay on the board, what speed they can utilize that. Because these do not state at slow speed only, which is, as you said, commonly known for text whenever it comes down to certain cards. So we need to find out at the end of the day what it is, because I mean that changes everything in regards to how viable they are in regards to certain decks, especially Ranger, Assassin, etc. Just being able to pay whatever at the end of turn, just being like, oh, okay, I have 2 cards at the end of my turn. I haven't used my boon yet. I'm going to use my boon now and put a prep counter on my champion. Or in regards to bullets and whatnot, oh, cool. At the end of your turn, I haven't used the effect of my boon. I'm going to pay 2, rest it, get a bullet out on the board, so that way I can utilize it next turn or anything realistically.
Yeah, it really
and
changes.
that is something that will have to be clarified.
Yeah, it really changes the lines of play when it comes to the effectiveness of cards, because a lot of these cards, like if I have to play this at slow speed and use cards in my hand to generate stuff like that, it's going to be effective the first time and maybe the second time that I do it. But because if you think about it, at least in the case of Ranger, prep counters are a whole different monster. Like, I wouldn't want to do that for prep counters. But for a bullet, it's like, okay, cool, I would have paid this much for a main deck bullet anyway. But after like the second time of using it, you're paying 4, 5, 6. Like, the card loses its effectiveness really fast, and not being able to use it at fast speed really, really hurts that effectiveness. Because after using it twice, you're almost never going to use it again. At slow speed, you're definitely never going to use it again. At fast, like, unless it's for like a guaranteed kill shot. But at fast speed, this card gets a lot more usage, because say you went like a whole turn count without having to worry about anything, and you got 5 cards in hand and you have to pay 5 for this, there you go.
They're gonna make one of these for Astro Diana, or for like the bows.
No, because all of her stuff is main deck. She doesn't really.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't really need that. Like, all of her stuff comes from the main board. So.
Were the arrows from A and B, were they main deck? I forget.
Yeah, arrows and bows and arrows
Bows.
were main
I'm
deck.
pretty sure they're main deck. Yeah.
They never saw play.
Yeah.
I don't. I still to this day
What
do
were
not
they
understand.
Yeah, just that meme. What were they cooking? Nothing,
Yeah,
apparently.
yeah. It's a really good question. Like the one bow sounded pretty decent, but like again, you have to take up main deck slots to play this. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Wonder if they were like gonna make like another Ranger champ, but just never went through with
That's
it.
what
and then they just
everybody
forgot
thought
to
was
get
gonna happen. Everybody thought we were gonna get some kind of bow and arrow champion, but it it didn't turn out that way. We just have a bunch of useless bow and arrows. I mean, given like they might have use in draft, which is what A and B was also centered around, is like getting their draft format out. But outside of that, like they really don't have any use. Even in draft, I barely ever see them played.
Yeah.
Well, if that's all the boons we have right now, then I guess we've covered all of that. I really wish we had one to share with you guys, honestly. But
That would be really nice.
yeah, maybe one day we'll get a spoiler. But
Speaking of spoilers, though, February 22nd is the live stream.
oh yeah, that's right. That's next weekend.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
What
The
is
day
that?
after we have to go and be at regionals.
Okay, yeah. So that would be that Sunday. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, we'll have to see what's on there. As far as Pantheon goes, just since like this whole episode was basically about Pantheon anyway, I guess we can take the last couple minutes here because we're definitely over time. Almost
yeah,
an
this
hour.
thing starts at 9. Oh, that's gross.
We're almost an hour 30 into this. I do want to wrap up here, but a couple maybe cards that you think might be solid in Pantheon. I talked about the one water card, the Exorcist, that comes in and removes all cards in graveyards except for water.
Oh,
I think that one's gonna be really strong, and I think the one that can punch domains from PTM, I think that's gonna be a really strong one.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, I enjoy Buried Grief as a card, and I think that card's going to be relevant because it's just a generic draw 2, put 1 back, so neutral cycle.
Mm-hmm.
I also think strategic planning might be played, especially in the assassin decks, just due to the fact of that it's a goods 2, so you get to go and see where you want to put cards, and then you get a prep counter. Bladed Rift Seer, I definitely feel is going to be played, because of obviously with how everything's going in CL, which it's funny that we're having to bring this up. CL has a high chance in Pantheon to just materialize his Umbra stealth card, and people can't do anything about it. Because by then they're out of answers for Regalias, and it's just like, what do I do? What can I do?
Well, I can't. All right, so I can't say you're out of regalia or out of answers because, especially with some of these boons, like the one that puts back 4 regalia, like if you're playing Crystalline Mirror, you just pop it.
Oh yeah, guaranteed. But
Or Alcahest.
I mean, at that point in time, we're very very late into the game, so 9 times out of 10, most people are going to be out of options in regards to it.
I think
so
personally, if you
like
see
True
CL, you're gonna plan for
well,
that.
that's the whole thing, is you can't determine what your opponent's going to be playing until you all decide to start playing, and that's the whole.
Well, no,
patch.
but
So,
but you can determine that boon that puts 4 regalia back. So, like, if someone's at the table,
you can see that, yes, but you won't know what your opponent is playing and whatnot. So like that's the whole entire thing. You can't use it as like a realistic method, because at the end of the day, like you
I mean,
never know what
in
they're
all
playing in
honesty,
their
that's what
board.
I would do. Like if I saw CL at the table, knowing that card exists, like I would purposely put back a card that can deal with a 0-cost regalia.
I mean that's absolutely fair. I'm not saying you're wrong in regards to that, but yet again, you can play 1 and 1. You can play 1 lesser, 1 greater. So at the end of the day, you have to decide: do you want to play the 8 cost that's going to net you 2 cards over turns, or are you going to play the one that cycles back regalia? So
Fair
like
enough.
that's the whole entire catch to it. Like the thought process behind it and whatnot is basically you have one of 2 options in regards to it, and that's the whole entire thing I love about Pantheon, because it forces you to really think in depth in regards to what you're playing against and how to go and utilize your boons to reflectively give yourself an advantage or an edge in regards to the opposing player.
I mean, let's be real. Politics is going to play a lot in too, because I've seen Commander games.
Yes.
Like you have to make friends and not that many enemies, or you're not going to last long at that table.
Yeah. I also feel Deadly Opportunist is definitely going to see a lot of play, and that's just due to the fact of that it's generically able to remove anything.
Dude, I'm looking forward to Kongming and just being able to recycle Planar Abyss and just blow up the entire fucking board.
Yeah.
And it deals 10 to everybody else.
Yeah.
That card is going to be so absurd. Like, yeah. I'm so looking forward. And, like, you can play it multiple times. And I'm not even saying, like, 2 times. Like you can play that card probably, like, upwards of 4 or 5 times.
You can preserve it, right?
So you can preserve it in multiple ways, and then you can also, for 1 regalia, allows you to put cards from your discard pile underneath it, and you cast them at slow speed, which Planar Abyss is already slow speed. So, you can just recycle it into that, and then, depending on which variation of Kongming you're playing, if you use the regalia correctly and you're in, like, let's say Wind Kongming or something, you can just blink the regalia, it'll come back, and it will it'll put it back under it again.
Yeah. The last one I would say is Mirrored Confrontation. It's probably the last card I would go and pull from the list, just to go and spoil a little bit. And that's just a group hug card. It's a terminology that we use in Magic where it nets everyone advantage, and no one's going to negate it because it's netting everyone an advantage as long as you play certain things. Like Mirror Confrontation basically states as long as everyone reveals a level 3 let me make sure I have this right.
Yeah, it's
Each
the one
player
that
may reveal champion card with base level 3 from the material deck. Each player that does draws a card into memory and recovers 2.
Yeah, so it just basically says everybody draws a card and recovers 2. Like as long as you're playing a level 3 champion.
But it forces everyone to reveal a champion. So if you're at level 0 and your opponent decides to reveal, let's say, CL level 3, it's information that you're going to gain to go and properly plan out your turns to attempt to go and like deal with any problems that you could possibly have in regards to that match. Or it will reveal if your opponent's even playing a level 3 at all. So,
no, those are some interesting picks there. In all honesty, I know the biggest one, like, because I've been looking into it a little bit now that we're getting closer to it. I know, like, Planar Abyss, I was really excited for, especially with all the support that Kongming. Well, it's not a lot of support, but it's enough to make me look at this card and be like, you know, there's something there. So,
yeah.
I like Planar Abyss. I think it's going to be a really effective card. It's going to be one of those cards at the table that if it comes out and nobody has the response to it, it's just going to hurt.
I also feel 4 of Spades is like going to be amazing in the format too.
What was it? 4 of Spades?
Yeah, 4 of Spades.
Oh yeah, just a generic be able to draw a card to memory type of thing.
Yeah, yeah. Draw a card, fast speed into memory.
Yep. Hmm.
So
Interesting. We might have to. I know we've got regionals coming up that are like literally back to back almost. But if we could fit it in like one brawl night or something, I know definitely after the stuff comes out, we're gonna dedicate like a night for Pantheon that we'll probably like record and whatnot. But I'd like to try to fit at least one night where we sit down and just play with what we've got and what we know so far, and just kind of see how that goes.
yeah, I mean, I'm definitely down. I mean, once we get through the next 2 weeks of regionals and everything, we typically have 2 more weeks until our last regional in our like 4 hour range that I limit us to for driving.
Hmm.
So
Well, I know you're down for Pantheon. My phone's constantly blowing up. Did you see this card? What about this card? Did you see this?
yeah, yeah,
I've been sitting at work.
yeah,
I've been working on this. Like
yeah.
between that and like the Discord conversations and like other chats over like all sorts of stuff going on, like my phone just doesn't shut up.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think that was a I forgot Corey. Corey, did you have any cards that you thought might stick out?
Not really at the moment. I haven't really been looking like you guys. Like, I don't really know a lot of the cards. Sometimes I kind of go through and look at stuff. I've been slowly going through the catalog of Grand Archive, but I'm mostly just been looking at stuff for like Nico and Tony and whatnot. I haven't really found anything for Pantheon per se. Like, Tony's kind of Tony. He just kind of does Tony things.
Tony's really
So,
good in Pantheon. It's like the reverse of
yeah,
regular format.
yeah,
Mhm.
which is like he has good stuff, which is mostly what I've been playing already. Like, a lot of his Neo stuff is good, and also kind of meh. So like Hector's gonna be good in there. Cordelia, I might be
You
able
get
to
your
finally
Hectors yet?
use. Yes, yeah, I got him in a few days ago.
Ooh, pretty.
Yeah. Cordelia seems to be pretty good in there. Maybe that one rare, the 04 Taunter, might be pretty good. I haven't picked her up yet. I'll probably have to grab a copy of her. Um, but yeah, I'm excited to see what other stuff we get in RDO to kind of help him, even in Pantheon. Like, even if his stuff and the new stuff he gets isn't enough to push him into like a competitive format, it would still be nice to see what kind of stuff he gets in for Pantheon.
Yeah, I think Pantheon's gonna be a breath of fresh air, especially since like this format I haven't really been enjoying too much. Like, I don't even want to play in regionals.
Water's been making a comeback though. There's been a lot of water shit.
Yeah, but unfortunately, when water makes a comeback, so does all of the water hate cards that exist.
Lantern,
Lantern, Censer, Viridian Protective Trinket.
Yep.
Yep, water has like the most hate cards in the game.
Yeah, I know Fantasia.
You know, it's like they're trying to mimic Magic and be like, oh yeah, we don't want water to be uninteractable. We need some interaction. We need a way to stop water.
Yeah,
We'll see how I wonder if we're gonna run into every Censor player underneath the sun.
That's when you pray you have a Fracture Eyes or a way to play around it.
Yeah, I actually have a response to it now. Unlike when I played Tony and just got completely shit on. A lot of that was just me being new, but like I also just ran into all my natural weaknesses, which was kill you turn 2. You want to play the game? Yeah. Well, too bad. Pole Hawk.
I think that's a good place to call it
Yeah,
call
Pole
it
Hawk.
a night. We covered a lot. We got we caught everything up on all the Pantheon stuff. Hopefully we will have more information, or it wouldn't be for next week's podcast, so, like, unless they drop some spoilers throughout next. It would be for the following week, but we'll see what happens there. We're gonna be doing the Gaming Giant regionals in Virginia next weekend. If you guys are going
Isn't
to that,
LA the same weekend?
what?
Isn't LA the same weekend?
I don't know. You'd have to ask Sly. I think Sly's going to. I think he's going to LA. So we'll have to find out.
I want to say March 26th, but I could be wrong.
No, because there's usually like an ascent, like usually they're like
No,
a
March
month
28th and 29th.
Okay,
Ah, I was close.
the end of March.
Mhm.
Okay. I know the
I don't know
ban-
why I thought there was an ascent at this month at some point.
I know the
like,
Banished
near-
regional is right around RE9 coming out, which kind of pisses me off.
The day after RE9 releases.
I know,
it's like,
right? Like I'm gonna go in there and be like a zombie because I'm gonna have been up like for 2 days straight playing RE9.
dude, same. I'm going to be going into the regional with no sleep because I want to be able to just grind out Requiem so much.
So it's so. I gotta end the podcast. We can talk about this in a
Yeah,
second.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
thank you everybody for watching and listening to us yap about stupid shit as always. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show and you guys continue to like this whole live thing that we're doing here. We will keep doing it because it saves me from having to edit videos, which I greatly appreciate. After doing the Merlin one, it really knocks it out of me. That's why I can only do those deep dives like every month or every other month or something. I don't even know at this point. I do want to do more of them for you guys. I've gotten so many wonderful comments from people like saying like about the quality and how much they enjoyed it and everything, and I'm so glad you guys do. Like, that just shows that the hard work pays off. So thank you so much for all the kind words, and I look forward to getting more of those out to you guys. I will probably slap up a poll for the next one here soon. But that being said, thank you again for joining us on this episode of the Looking Glass podcast, and we will see you guys on the next one. So until then, guys, take care.